Okay. Good evening. And welcome to everyone who's joining us on the internet. I know many of you had a very interesting week following our get-together last week. And what may have escaped people's attention is that we were talking about love. We were talking about the fact that it's everyone's function to be the presence of love moving. And of course, love moving means involvement, as we talked at some length about last week. Now, the issue that started the subject was need that had been expressed by Paul the week before. Need for what? Involvement. Need for conscious involvement. Since it revolved around financial support, there was a spontaneous feeling among most everyone, well, I hope we can finally get this problem resolved. I hope we can get this taken care of once and for all. Why? Well, so that I won't have to be confronted with it again. Not I, Paul, but I, all of you. You know, when you have a child, in the beginning, you stand a little bit in awe of the experience of the appearing of this child, and then of finding your capacity to love this child. And as the years go by, the thought sometimes will occur to you, boy, I can't wait till they get to be 18 or 20 and move away from home. And then I will be through raising them and I can get on to other things. Like, the excruciating task of expressing endless love will be over. Can't wait for the time when everything falls into order and attention doesn't have to be given to it again. And finally, you're free. What? Free to not have to love is what you're saying. Free not to have to be as attentive. Free to not be as conscious. You know, it's very easy for you to enjoy the concept of God's eternal love. The fact that it's eternal means that you have a guarantee of always being embraced without fluctuation. And therefore, if you're willing to reach for it and receive it and accept it, you feel secure. But oh dear, the minute I or anyone suggests that because you are God's self-expression, thereby embodying everything about God, obviously your function, the movement of your being, is one of eternal love. See, oh dear. Eternal involvement? And then it doesn't sound so wonderful, and it sounds like work. And the orphan says, well, okay, I'll tell you what. If we are to attend to our brother's need, let's find a way to organize the attending to our brother's needs. Our city, like other cities, has what's called a tent city, T-E-N-T. A city of tents put up by the homeless, wherever they can find enough space. Well, let's form a committee. Let's form a committee to find out what the needs are of these people, as well as what the needs are of the city, so that we can get rid of this scourge, this ugliness that doesn't reflect well on the city. Let's find out whether we need to raise funds or establish a fund to help these people get their needs met so that they won't be messing up our city anymore, you see. Do you see that if you try to organize the expression of love, love goes out the window? To form a committee means that only a small number of people actually have to be involved with them who live in this tent city. And everyone else can say, well, you know what, we're paying our taxes, and hopefully our taxes will go into a fund that will clean up this problem. And I don't have to be involved at all. I don't have to be conscious enough to look into one of my brother's eyes in Tent City and actually care enough to let myself be present enough with him, as well as present with the Father or the Holy Spirit, so that I may be led to know what needs to be done and what will constitute an extension of love that will bless my brother and allow me to fulfill my function. You see, I hope Paul gets his problem worked out so that I won't have to think about this anymore. Oh, you know what? Why doesn't Paul just start charging for everything? Everyone else does. And I wouldn't have any problem with receiving a bill for a copy of a newsletter or a CD or to download something from the internet. I wouldn't mind at all. These are all means of distancing yourself from Paul, or from the need. Sort of take care of the need by remote control. And then out of sight, out of mind. Well, you know what? The need isn't for money. The need is for love. And the need isn't for any of you to give money. The need is for you to take to heart what this book teaches and what I've been teaching, and actually begin to shift within yourself so that you are being in a new way, more consciously. Now, because what I'm talking about is not one of the habits that an orphan engages in, it's going to require effort. It's going to require conscious persistence, conscientiousness. Being in a new way is far different from thinking in a new way. Because being means action. And action takes place in your world. And action means involvement. Being in a new way in the world. You get up in the morning. Perhaps you and your wife get up in the morning. You both get dressed. You get ready for work. You each take your own car and you go to your job. And you go through your day unconscious of each other. And you come home at the end of the day and you're tired. And so one of you goes to the computer, the other one goes into the television, and you sit down and have a quiet evening together at home, you say. Together? You're not even conscious of each other. Now, I've drawn a stark negative picture there. Many of you are much more involved with each other than that. But I'm encouraging all of you to become more conscious of each other than that. Sometimes you run into people whose constant activity is one of caring. They'll give you the shirt off their back. And they'll know when a shirt is needed. And that's the key point. They'll know when a shirt is needed. Why? Because they're paying attention. And they know that they're there to care. This is part of what is natural and normal to each one of you. You each have an infinite capacity built in. It's your nature. It's the essence of your being. You have an infinite capacity to be love moving. And if you didn't know that, now you know. I'm telling you this so that when it looks like I'm suggesting that you begin to engage in something that's going to be work, because it doesn't come naturally to you in your role as an orphan, you need to know that I'm not asking you to do something you don't have the capacity to do. The love in you is infinite. The love in you moves from an eternal source. Eternal. You have the capacity to be so involved with those in your world and the things in your world that you notice when the plants need to be watered. You notice when your husband or your wife or your partner or your children are needing guidance or direction or a hug. And you notice all of these things simultaneously because you have the capacity to do it. Don't want for needs to go away. Or I'll put it this way. Don't want calls for love to go away. Don't want opportunities to be the presence of love to go away. Don't want to get to a point where you won't have to do it anymore. Some parents don't wait until their kids are 18. They get a nanny when the kids are 2 weeks old. And the nanny changes the diapers, and the nanny burps them, and the nanny holds them when they're fretful, and the nanny massages them when they've got some gas that isn't coming out easily. The nanny is the presence of love. Extending. And the new, proud parents sleep comfortably in their bed, undisturbed by the opportunity to be the presence of love moving. Well, I just don't want to have to keep thinking about this. I'd rather get on to happier things. Well, there you are. The Pharisee. Oh dear. Well, I just don't want to have to think about or be conscious of such things as this guy has been beaten and mistreated. I'd rather give my thought to more holy, more pleasant things. In your unwillingness to be the presence of love, you secure your orphanhood. Because after all, orphanhood is a state of isolation, of aloneness, isn't it? If you want to wake up, if you want to come home into your right mind, you have to be willing to abandon the isolation that you treasure so much. And in order to do it, it's going to take effort because you treasure it so much. It's going to take effort to override the way in which you treasure your isolation. But remember that you have the infinite capacity to be love moving because you're not an orphan. Because you are God presencing Himself right there where you are. And it's God's capacity to be eternal love that constitutes your capacity. That's why when you dare to embrace your capacity to be eternal love, and you do it and you extend it, you get to keep it and you remember God. Because what? You've engaged with God, haven't you? You've had to stand in receipt of this flow of eternal love that is yours because God is being it right there where you are, where He is being you. Now you know, the foundation is a non-profit corporation. Oh boy. Start thinking in those terms, and we've got an organization, a wonderful place for committees, and a wonderful setup for organizing the inflow of money. Being a non-profit, it can apply for grants. Free money, so to speak. And then no one would have to be conscious at all, you see. And yet, love is what waking up is all about. Discovering it, letting it flow through you instead of all of the other crap that you willingly let it flow through you, and letting it transform you and transform others, because all of you do know at the bottom line that love does transform, that love does heal. This work simply cannot be transactional. Oh yeah, there Raj is talking about the work, and Raj is talking about the foundation, Raj is talking about money, Raj is talking about contributions. No, I am not talking about any of that. I'm talking about the fact that those things do stand as a trigger for each and every one of you to take a look at the degree to which, as I said last week, you choose consciously to be the Pharisee and not look at need and not bring into play your capacity to be love eternally. And it serves as a trigger for you to change your mind about just how much love you're going to give, but not quite give, hopefully. Just a little, just enough. Because you think you're an orphan, and because you think you don't have much, and because you think that it's not in the cards for you to have much, unless you become a really good orphan and a really good manipulator, where you can make things happen without employing love. How thoughtful are you of your wife? How thoughtful are you of your husband? How thoughtful are you of your lovers? How thoughtful are you of your children? How much of your conscious awareness is allowed to rest upon and be present with not just yourself, but yourself and your family, yourself and your neighbors, yourself and your friends. You have an infinite capacity to do this. Thoughtfulness. Involvement. It's a big word. And I hope that what I've been talking about is making you take a closer look at just how much or how little involvement you are allowing to occur in your daily lives. Oh, but you have a holy work to do. I'm tattling on Paul a little bit here. I have a gathering to master because people are waiting for it. Sue can wait. She's strong. Basic needs are taken care of. She doesn't need my attention. And my not giving her my attention, his not giving her his attention, is not because he doesn't love her, but because he has partitioned off this part of his capacity to love from this part of his capacity to love. And he's saying it's justified not to be thoughtful and sensitive fully in this area, because over in this area a truly holy work is being done. It isn't like he's sitting over there drinking a beer, watching the fights on the TV. You see? And so there's a justification that really, in terms of actual life experience, is no different from the guy drinking the beer, watching the fights, not giving a thought to his wife. The actual experience is one of no involvement. If what we're reading about and if what I'm teaching isn't trickling down, let's say, a little bit lower than your mind into your life and your behaviors, it's not worth shit. No matter how spiritually precocious and advanced you might think you are. If you're going to bring the truth home, it's going to mean something more than having a realization in your mind. It's going to mean a realization in your mind that causes your way of behaving in the world to change. The last time we were reading from the book, I read this. Because of your Father's love, you can never forget Him, for no one can forget what God Himself placed in His memory. You can deny it, but you cannot lose it. Well, likewise, God has placed in you an infinite, eternal capacity to be love moving. And you can deny it, but you cannot lose it. Now, this is the part I actually want to read. A voice with a capital V will answer every question you ask. And a vision with a capital V will correct the perception of everything you see.